I'm ashamed to be English this week. I'm ashamed of all sorts of people, David Cameron, Jeremy Corbyn, Boris Johnson. But in particular, I'm ashamed of my generation, the over 60s, who voted so overwhelmingly in favour of leaving. As one Warwick University student posted on Facebook, she said, "The generation before us have had everything. Work, houses, stability, peace, and they've taken it all away from us. The old have voted for a future that the young didn't want." But in particular, I'm ashamed of the well-off older people of this country. Here's an email I received from a friend in Hampshire. The day after the vote, I was in my local pub where 8 wealthy retirees sat toasting a great new future with a couple of bottles of expensive Chablis, while the 4 20-somethings working behind the bar looked on in amazement. Finally, I'm ashamed that Nigel Farage and his ilk won by conning older people that we can go back to an England of yesteryear, an imagined England which never really existed anyway.
Greg, I like you, but I could not disagree with your point more. And you summed up my feelings.
You don't have to start by saying you like me.
You always know it's going badly when anybody else says that.
I haven't felt that about anyone this week who voted for Brexit. I haven't felt I like them. I shall overcome it, but up to now I haven't.
You summed up, and in your own intro then, what has happened here. You've just said that you're ashamed of your generation, and you saw this student writing on Facebook saying, "These people have taken my future away." That right there is the problem. All of us, old or young or in the middle, had a choice and an opportunity to vote. The older people could be bothered to do so. The younger people could not be asked. I'm sorry, they sat there, they went on Facebook, they could not be bothered. They did not come out and vote. It's estimated at around 30% of young people could be bothered to have a vote. And they sit in their houses and they go on their Facebook, they hurl abuse at people like me and the oldest. And quite frankly, my message is this. If you don't want your future ruined, get off your backside, get your pen or your pencil, get yourself down to the voting booth and make a difference. It's not an entitlement that you have this future. You have to work for it and you have to make it happen.
Well, it's true. I mean, I think my figures, 47% of the under 35s voted and 83% of the over 65s voted. So we are out of Europe because of the vote of older people.
No.
Now let me finish. There's two groups there. There's one group who I have some sympathy with. And I think the older people who live in what have become fairly deprived towns in this country, we are all responsible for. And we have not done something about it. Right through, I know you're a big Labour supporter, but right through the Labour Party, they believe that as the country grew, there would be a trickle down.
And there wasn't.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
And the biggest question that's facing us in this country as a result of this voting going forward is how do we ensure that the wealth of this country is more fairly shared?
100%. And can I just add to Greg's point and to pick up on yours, in terms of young people, I completely buy that the youth turnout was low, but there are a number of reasons as to why that happened. First being, in 2014, when the whole way people were registered to vote changed with the individual electoral registration. That was completely out of order. With the old system, the head of the household registered every eligible voter. With this new system, you have to register individually and you also have to supply your NI number. Then this government...
What's the problem with that?
Let me finish. Then this government also stopped universities block registering people. So that meant 1.4...
Oh, my God, you had to do a bit of work.
Oh, please.
You had to do a bit of work to vote.
Nick.
Oh, it's so wrong.
That meant 1.4 million young people were taken off the register, and then some... Yes? Oh...
Why bleat and moan? It's a perfectly fair system. Everybody above the age of about 50 or 60 seem to know.
Then this referendum was held while universities were off.
You're clutching for excuses,
people had
you
to
guys.
re-register.
No, but come on, Nick.
No, but it was completely against
Take it from me.
young people.
You lost.
No,
Just
we did
accept
not.
it.
We did not. It wasn't
didn't
against
lose?
young people.
Nick,
And it was
do
not
you
about
really
women.
think it's right that the future of this country has been decided by people over 65.
Yeah, probably.
It was divided.
Because in most instances...
Who won't be here.
If you'll allow me 50 as well, 50, they're the wealth creators, they're the bosses, they're the people with the life experience.
It wasn't decided by 50s.
Well, I'm saying, if you'll allow me 50s, if you'll allow me 50s, hold on, they're the wealth creators, they're the bosses, they're the ones who create the businesses, they're the ones who have the experience, they're the ones who go on to be the High Court judges. I'll probably take their view against the people who watch the Kardashians.
But the people who watch the Kardashians are the ones who are going to have to live with this.
Maybe,
so
by the way, you see, you're like Cameron. This is apocalyptic scenario, financial Armageddon. Maybe it won't be like that.
No, I just think it's really sad because the 17 to 24-year-olds didn't go out and vote. And I believe that...
for a number of reasons.
Well,
the system was set up against them.
Yeah, but, I disagree with that. But the other thing is, as well, is we have the biggest music festival, Glastonbury, happening last week. Why couldn't we have had some areas to go and vote there as well?
Because
if you think the amount of people that are at the music festival, it would have been good to have that.
Let me ask those who voted out.
It's not easy to do.
And I can understand the people, some of the reasons for voting out.
Yeah, I completely understand.
But do you think it is economically in the interest of this country to be out?
Now, I hate answering a question with a question, but what is going to be the economic pitfall of coming out? If we put our own trade deals together, if Europe is radically...
Tell me, that happens overnight.
Greg, why have we sold this generation
The truth is, we don't know.
Thank you.
The truth is, we don't know.
Well said.
Yeah. Therefore, the risk, therefore there is a significant risk. Whereas we knew where we were, we knew the growth we've had, we've gone through some pretty good years, although it's been disproportionately distributed.
Yeah.
But the real issue is we don't know.
Yeah.
And it could well be that you voted for something that, in economic terms, is going to be very costly for this country.
Well,
fifth biggest economy in the world?
No,
growing,
six
growing
at the
GDP.
moment. Six because of your decision.
They do not have a plan. And the lies as well. What do you think about the lie?
Yeah.
What lies? Oh, what about the health service? That was terrible, of course. But I mean,
so there were lies on both sides.
There were lies.
There were no lies on the Remain side.
Oh my God!
There were no lies.
There
were no lies. All of the economic, everything that was predicted is happening and worse.
I'll put it to you for the third time.
There were no lies.
World War III. You believe we'll have World War III?
The Prime Minister did not say there would be.
Terrorists coming in, the ease of terrorists coming in. You believe that, do you?
That is totally possible. If we lose a European arrest warrant, that is totally possible.
How will that stop it? The French have already said we'll keep the border at Calais and they'll keep their border at St Pancras and everything else.
But that's not the only form of terrorism.
You know, we talked earlier about how the anger that you got upset about. The people who injected the anger were the politicians because they raised it to such a bar. That's why families are divided.
No, it was the likes of the Farages that injected the anger.
No, I agree. But there was plenty of...
Disgusting campaign.
What, and yours wasn't?
No. Our problem was we were too honest. That was our problem.
George Osborne with that Brexit budget was a terrible miscalculation.
That I'll give you.
And it talked the markets down.
That I'll give you.
And I tell you what, that was a big contributor to me voting out.
I'll give you that one.
OK, let's go back. I mean, to sum up, because we're obviously not going to agree much today on anything. I don't think.
Can I ask you to agree with me about this young people thing? Because...
I think it's a great shame that the young people didn't turn out at the same rate as older people.
Do you think
they've got more things to do with their time than an awful lot of older people.
We have to take into account that the system was stacked up against them.
It was.
It really was.
Because they had to go and...
The way you registered to vote is not how young people today have to register.
June, it would have taken them 2 minutes. Bearing in mind...
Yes, but that's not the point. The point is, in the end, it is a shame that the young didn't turn out en masse to vote. But what it meant was... older people actually decided what we were now going to do for the future 20 years of this country, and I think that's to be regretted.
And who have the young people got to blame for that?
Well, that's not the
point.
Tory government.
It is the point.
No, that's not.
Answer me that question.
No,
who have they got to blame?
Tory government. That's
They've got to blame themselves because they didn't come out.
They've got to blame themselves.
I know, but that's not the point. The point is,
it is the point.
I've long believed that we have got a real danger in our society of the young increasingly disliking the old because the old have had it so good and they're not going to have it so good.
And actually, this is going to happen. Get into the real world and make it happen.
That's not the point. The point is that's not what happens. You don't get people to go and sign up to vote because of that. That's not what they do. But what you've got to work out is is it in the best interest of this society that the old have decided what's going to happen for the next 25 years? And it can't be.
Right, guys.
Honestly,
well, it's over to me.